Discuss about NEET paper solutions. So this year NEET paper is very easy paper. This is the easiest paper in NEET history. I think this will never happen in coming future also. All questions are very easy questions. There is no tricky questions. So let us solve these problems. A wire of length L and area of cross section A is hanging from fixed support. The length of the wire changes to L1 when mass M is suspended from its free end. So the expression for Young modulus is, the four options are given here. So this is a wire. So this wire length is L. Whenever the mass is attached to one end of this wire, it expands. Its length changes to how much? L1. That means initial length L1 is equal to L, and final length L2 is equal to L1. L2 is equal to L1. Now change in length delta L is equal to final length minus initial length, L2 minus L1, that is equal to L1 minus L. Okay. And also here the expression for Young modulus. Okay. So we know that Young modulus is equal to, longitudinal stress divided by longitudinal strain. Now what is the longitudinal stress here? Longitudinal stress, that means here F by A divided by delta L by L. Right. Here F means a load is attached to one end of the wire, so that F is equal here mg divided by A. What is meant by delta L here? Change in length. So change in length is nothing but L1 minus L divided by initial length. Right. What is our final answer here? mg into L by A into L1 minus L. This is the solution of this question. Discuss another question. Here a long solenoid of 50 centimeters length having 100 turns carries a current 2.5 amperes. The magnetic field at the center of the solenoid is. So here this is a solenoid whose length is nothing but how much? 50 centimeters. And how much current it carries? It carries a current 2.5 amperes. What they ask here? Magnetic field at the center of the solenoid. So we know that formula, magnetic field at the center of the solenoid is equal to B equal to mu naught Ni, where N is number of turns per unit length. Here how many turns are there here? N is equal to 100 turns. So here B is equal to mu naught. What is the value of mu naught they given? 4 pi into 10 power minus 7. So N by L into I, number of turns per unit length. This type of problem is also available in NCERT book. So here 4 pi into 10 power minus 7. How many total number of turns here? 100 divided by here 50 centimeters. That means 50 centimeters is nothing but half meter. So here half meter into how much current it carries? 2.5. Right. Here 2 into 2.5, 4 pi into 10 power minus 7 into 10 square. This 2 into 2.5, that is equal to how much? 5. right. Here 5 into 4, 20. 20 pi into 10 to the power of minus 5. So here we can written as 2 into pi into 10 to the power of minus 4. So here 20 is nothing but 2 into 10. So what is pi here? 2 into 3.14 into 10 to the power of minus 4. So here 6.28 into 10 to the power of minus 4 Tesla. So our correct option is fourth option, 6.28 into 10 to the power of minus 4 Tesla. Now let us discuss another question. A ray is incident on an angle of incidence I on one surface of a small angle prism A and emerges out normally from opposite surface. If refractive index of prism is nu, then angle of incidence is. So this is a prism. Okay. Now the light ray is incident on the prism at one surface at an angle of incidence I. Now this light ray emerges normally from opposite surface. So here this light ray is incident normally from opposite surface. This is normal incidence. This is the angle of prism. Then what they ask, refractive index of prism is equal to how much? That means this light ray is incident on the second surface normally. So for normal, this is nothing but what here, this is R1. For normal incidence, I2 is equal to 0, R2 is equal to 0. I2 is equal to 0, R2 is equal to 0. Normal incidence. So here we know that A is equal to R1 plus R2. A is equal to R1 plus R2. Here at the second surface the light ray is incident normally. That means R2 is equal to 0. So here A is equal to R1. Now apply Snell's law at the first surface. So here N1 sin I1 is equal to N2 sin R1. Okay. Here the light ray travels from air to prism, direct to denser. So the refractive index of air N1 is 1 into sin I is equal to. Here the refractive index of this prism, small angle prism, is nothing but mu into sin here R1, sin R1. This is a small angle prism. That means what? Sin I1 is almost or equal to I1. Sin R1 is almost or equal to R1. So here I is equal to mu into sin R1, that is almost equal to R1. What is R1 here? A. So angle of incidence is equal to I equal to how much? Mu A. So what is our correct option? Second option. Second option is our correct option. So here in certain region of space with volume 0.2 meter cube, the electric potential is found to be 5 volts. Then magnitude of electric field in this region is. So here this is a region. So in this region, at any point, at anywhere, the electric potential is constant. Electric potential is constant. From center to surface, electric potential is constant. V, that means V constant. V constant. That means there is no potential difference between any 2 points. dV is equal to 0. dV is equal to 0. What is the electric field in this region? So we know that formula electric field is equal to minus dV by dr. Minus dV by dr. dr is the distance between the 2 points. dV is the potential difference between the 2 points. Here dV is equal to 0. dV is equal to 0. That means electric field is 0 in this region. So wherever the potential is constant, then electric field is 0. So our correct option is fourth option, 0. A series LCR circuit connected to AC voltage. When L is removed, the phase difference between current and voltage is pi by 3. When C is removed, the phase difference between current and voltage is again pi by 3. Then find the power factor. So this is a LCR circuit. So now let us choose first case. When L is removed, L is removed. When L is removed, L is removed, then we draw the phasor diagram. So in resistance, voltage and current in same phase. So this is VR, voltage and resistance, and this is current, and this is VC. So here this is a resultant EMF, total EMF. This EMF makes the voltage between the current and voltage, angle between the current and voltage is pi by 3. Now here we write tan phi is equal to, what we write here, tan phi is equal to VC by R. VC by R. In terms of impedance, we write here XC by R. XC by R. Now, here when C is removed, means only inductor and resistor are present in the circuit. Then the phasor diagram for LR circuit. Again, the voltage in a resistor and the current are in same phase. Now this is voltage across inductor VL, and this is resultant EMF, and the angle between the total EMF and current is nothing but pi by 3 again. So here we write tan phi is equal to VL divided by again R. VL divided by R. So that means VR here also VR. In terms of reactance, in terms of resistances, we write here XL by R. This is equation 2. Here this is tan phi, this is tan phi. Here phi is equal in both cases. So 1 is equal to, this is the first equation. Let us assume this is the second equation. Now we write here XL by R is equal to XL by, that is XC. XL by R is equal to XC by R. Here RR cancel. XL is equal to XC. So XL is equal to XC means what? That circuit is in resonance condition. We know that impedance Z in LCR circuit is square root of here XL minus XC whole square plus R square. XL is equal to XC, that is equal, Z is equal to R. Pure resistive circuit. In this case, this behaves like a pure resistive circuit. In resistor circuit, what is the phase difference between the voltage and current? 0. Phi is equal to 0. That means here phi is equal to 0. So that means power factor. So here the power factor cos phi is equal to R by Z. So cos phi is equal to R by, what is Z here? Z is equal to R. So that means power factor cos phi is equal to how much? 1. So our answer is second option. So let us solve another question. For which of the following Bohr's model is not valid? Singly ionized helium atom. We know that in a helium atom there are 2 electrons. Singly ionized helium atom means 1 electron is removed, only 1 electron is left. Deuteron atom. So deuteron atom 1d2, there is 1 electron. So Bohr's model is valid. This singly ionized helium atom and this is deuteron atom, and also singly ionized neon atom. neon, there is 10 electrons. 1 electron is removed. How many electrons are there? 9 electrons. So this is multi-electron atom. So Bohr's model is not valid to this neon, singly ionized neon atom. Hydrogen atom, 1H1. Okay. So there is only 1 electron. So Bohr's model is valid to the hydrogen atom. So among the following, Bohr's model is valid for this first option, singly ionized helium atom and deuteron atom and hydrogen atom. It is not valid for single ionized neon atom because neon is multi-electron atom. So here another problem. Light with average flux of 20 watts per centimeter square falls on a non-reflecting surface at a normal incidence, having surface area how much? 20 centimeter square. The energy received by surface during the time span of 1 minute. Here they given I is equal to 20 watt per centimeter square. We know that intensity is equal to energy per unit area per unit time. I is equal to energy per unit area per unit time. So in problem they given 20 watt per centimeter square, that means that is intensity. So that intensity average flux is falls on non-reflecting surface of a normal instance having surface area how much? A is equal to 20 centimeter square. Okay. Now we want to find out the energy received by surface during the time span of 1 minute. So that means here E is equal to question mark. So here E is equal to I A into T. I 20 watt per centimeter square. 20 watt per centimeter square into what is area here? We need not to change the units of area. 20 centimeter square. 20 centimeter square into T. T is means 1 minute. 1 minute is equal to how much? 60 seconds. So here 60 seconds. Centimeter square, centimeters cancel. So here 2 into 2 into 6 into here into 10 into 10 into 10. That is equal to 10 cube. 2 2s are 4, 4 6 are 24. That means 24 into 10 cube joules. Okay. This is the correct answer. Second option. 24 into 10 to the power of 3 joules. Next question. An electron is accelerated from rest through a potential difference of V volt. If de Broglie wavelength of the electron is 1.227 in 10 to the power of -2 nanometer, then potential difference is. So this question is available in NCERT book, and sometimes this question is also asked in intermediate board examinations. There is a direct formula here. Lambda is equal to 1.227 by root V. 1.227 nanometer by root V. De Broglie wavelength. Here according to problem, what is the de Broglie wavelength they given? 1.227 10 to the power of -2 nanometer. That is also nanometer. So here 1.227 into 10 to the power of -2 is equal to 1.227 divided by root V. Here this 1.227 cancel. Now this root V is equal to, here this is 1 by 10 to the power of -2. So here root V is equal to 10 square. Squaring on both sides, V is equal to 10 power 4 volts. So our correct option is 10 to the power of 4 volts, that is equal to third option. So let us discuss another problem. A body weighs 72 newtons on the surface of the earth. What is the gravitational force on it at a height equal to half of the radius of the earth? Okay, so here this is earth. So this is the radius of the earth. We want to find out gravitational force acting on that body at a height equal to half of the radius of the earth. Half of the radius of the earth. That means that is equal to h is equal to r by 2. So weight of the body on the earth, that is equal to mg, is equal to the given 72 newtons. What they ask, weight of the body at a height h is equal to mg into m into gh. The height value changes with respect to height. The value of g changes with respect to height. Here m into gh is equal to gm by r plus h whole square, variation of g with height. Don't use this formula. G dash is equal to g into 1 minus 2h by r. This formula is when this formula is used when h less than r, then only this formula is used. But here they given the height is equal to half of the radius of the earth. That means here both h is not a less value. It is always comparable to the radius of the earth. It is a large value. So in the case of large value, we use this formula. Okay. So m into gm by, take r common. So r square 1 plus h by r whole square. So m into, here gm by r square. Gm by r square means g by 1 plus h means how much? R by 2. H means how much? R by 2. R by 2 by r whole square. So that is equal to here mg, r cancel, 1 plus 1 by 2. 1 plus 1 by 2 means how much? 3 by 2. So 3 by 2 whole square, that is equal to here 9 by 4. That means here 4 by 9 into mg. Mg means what? Weight of the body on the surface of the earth. So here 4 by 9 into mg, 72. 72. 9 8s are, 8 4s are, 32 newtons. So our option is option 1, 32 newtons. So many of the students make mistake while doing this problem. All the students are using this formula, g dash is equal to g into 1 minus 2h by r, variation of g with the height. But don't use this formula while doing this problem. Why? Because here h is not less than r. H is comparable to r. What is the radius of the earth here? 6,400 kilometers. Half of the radius means 3,200 kilometers. So almost they are comparable. That is not a small value. So we use this formula. So our option is 32 newtons. The question, which of the graph represents the variation of resistivity temperature for copper? We know that resistivity of a copper is almost proportional to temperature. But at very low temperatures, the variation of resistivity with temperature almost non-linear. Okay, so our option is fourth option. Fourth option is the correct option. So here light of frequency 1.5 times the threshold frequency is incident on a photosensitive material. What will be the photoelectric current if frequency halved and intensity doubled? So here what is meant by photoelectric effect? Whenever light of a certain frequency is incident on a photosensitive metals, then electrons are liberated. This phenomenon is called photoelectric effect. But to emit electrons from surface, we need a minimum frequency of light is incident on that photosensitive metal. That minimum frequency of light is called threshold frequency. Sir, in this question, the photosensitive material, what will be the photoelectric current if the frequency halved? The frequency is halved. That means initially here the light is incident on a photosensitive metal, that is 1.5 times of threshold frequency, 1.5 times of mu naught. Mu naught is the threshold frequency. If this frequency is halved, That means 1.5 mu naught by 2. And intensity double. What is the photoelectric current? They asked. If this frequency is halved, we get here 0.5 mu naught. This is less than threshold frequency. This is less than threshold frequency. So here no photoelectron is emitted from the photosensitive metal. So the current is 0. Our option is 0. No photoelectric electron current is available. Why? Because this frequency 0.75 mu naught is less than threshold frequency. So no photoelectrons are liberated from the surface. Our answer is 0. Question. A 40 microfarad capacitor is connected to a 200 volts 50 Hz supply. The RMS value of current is nearly. This is a capacitor. This capacitor is connected to AC source whose voltage is nothing but how much? 200 volts. RMS value of current. So we know that IRMS is equal to VRMS by, since this is a capacitor circuit, we write here XC. XC means reactance of capacitance. So we want to know IRMS is equal to VRMS into, this is XC means how much? 1 by omega C. XC means 1 by omega C. That omega C comes to numerator, that will becomes VRMS into omega C. So here IRMS is equal to, what is VRMS? They given 200 volts. 200 into omega, that is equal to 2 pi f into C. So 200 into 2 pi into f, frequency 50 Hz, into C, capacitor, capacity 40 microfarads, 40 into 10 power minus 6. Okay, right. Now this is can be written as 2 into 10 square into 2 pi into 5 into 10 into 4 into 10 to the power of minus 5. Right. Here 4 5s are 20. Okay. 22s are 40, 42s are 80. 80 pi into, here this is 10 square, this is the 10 to the power of 1. That means 10 cube. 10 cube. So here 10 cube into 10 to the power of minus 5. So here 8 pi into 10 to the power of 4 into 10 to the power of minus 5. So 8 pi into 10 to the power of minus 1. 8 into pi means what? 3.14 into 10 to the power of minus 1. 8 into 3.14. So here 25.12. 25.12 into 10 to the power of minus 1. That is equal to 2.512 amperes. So our option is second option. Second option is our correct option. A light of wavelength 600 nanometer is coming from star. The limit of resolution of the telescope whose objective has diameter 2 meter is. This is a formula based question. This formula is available in NCERT textbook. Direct formula. Limit of resolution. Limit of resolution. Theta is equal to 1.22 lambda by t. 1.22 lambda by d. Here 1.22 lambda means how much? 600 nanometers. So 600 into 10 to the power of minus 9 by d, diameter 2. So here 300 times. Now 1.22 into 3 into 10 square into 10 to the power of minus 7. That is equal to here 3.66 into 10 to the power of, here this is a minus 9, 10 to the power of minus 7 radians. This is the answer. This is the answer of this question. So our option is fourth option, 3.66 into 10 to the power of minus 7 radians. So here next problem, a ball is thrown vertically downward with a velocity 20 meter per second from top of the tower. It hits ground after some time with a velocity 80 meter per second. The height of the tower is. This is very easy problem from kinematics. So, this is a tower. From this top of the tower, a ball is thrown vertically downward with what velocity here? 20 meter per second. And after some time, it hits the ground with what velocity? 80 meter per second. 80 meter per second. This is the height of the tower. So, we know that formula v square minus u square is equal to 2gh. V square minus u square is equal to 2gh. So, here h is equal to v square minus u square by 2g. So, h is equal to, what is v here? 80. 80 whole square minus u square 20 whole square divided by 2 into g value. What is the g value here? 10. That is equal to 8 8 is 6400 minus 20 whole square, that is equal to 400 divided by 20. 6000 divided by 20. So, our answer is 300 meters. Height of the tower is equal to how much? 300 meters. So, here third option is correct option, 300 meters. A cylinder contains hydrogen gas at pressure 249 kilopascals and temperature 27 degrees centigrade. Its density is, what they given, R is equal to 8.31 joule per mole per kilo. This is a slightly calculation based problem. We know that ideal gas equation, PV is equal to nRT. PV is equal to nRT. So, here PV is equal to N, number of moles. That means mass of the gas by molecular weight, RT. RT. Right. So, here P is equal to M by capital M V into RT. Right. P is equal to mass by volume, mass of the gas by volume of the gas, density, rho RT by M. Rho RT by M. Here rho is equal to PM divided by RT. PM divided by RT. So, what they given here? P is equal to 249 kilopascals. That is equal to 249 into 10 cube pascals. Molecular weight of a gas, that is equal to 2 grams. That is equal to 2 into 10 to the power of minus 3 kilogram. Molecular weight of hydrogen. And here R value, that is equal to 8.3. 8.31. T is nothing but what? Here they given 27 degrees centigrade, you should convert into Kelvin. 27 plus 273, that is equal to 300 Kelvin. Now substitute these values. P is equal to, density is equal to P 249 into 10 cube into M 2 into 10 to the power of minus 3 kilogram, okay, by R 8.31, T 300 Kelvin. So, density is equal. By calculating this equation, we get answer 0.2 kilogram per meter cube. That means whenever we calculate this fraction, we get 0.19 something. That is nearly equal to 0.2 kilogram per meter cube. Our option is first option. So, this is simple question asked from nuclear fission process. When uranium isotope 92 uranium-235 is bombarded with neutron, it generates 36 krypton 89, 3 neutrons and dash, which of the following. So, this is the equation, 92 uranium-235 plus neutron gives rise to here 36 krypton 89 plus 3 neutron plus unknown quantity, that we want to find out that one. Now equate mass numbers, both sides, tally mass numbers. So LHS 235 plus 1 is equal to, this is 89 plus 3 neutrons 3 plus we don't know mass number of x, that is x. 235 plus 1 236 minus 89 plus 3 92 is equal to x. X is nothing but mass number of unknown element. So x is equal to here 144. 144. So mass number of unknown element is 144. Which of the following given this is correct answer. So the unknown quantity is here 56 barium 144. So our correct option is fourth option, 56 barium 144. This is the answer of this question. So next question, the increase in width of the depletion region in a PN junction diode is due to. So this is the PN junction diode. Whenever this PN junction diode is connected in reverse bias, that means P-type semiconductor is connected to the negative terminal, N-type semiconductor is connected to the positive terminal. Then what happens here? These holes are attracted by the negative terminal of the battery and they are moving away from the junction. So these electrons are attracted by the positive terminal of the battery, they are moving away from the junction. As a result, what happens? Width of the depletion region increases. So this biasing is called what bias? This is reverse bias. So our option is reverse bias. In reverse bias condition, width of the depletion region increases. So next question, the phase difference between displacement and acceleration of a particle in SHM. Here we draw the displacement time graph. This is the displacement time graph and this is nothing but acceleration time graph. Acceleration time graph. So the phase difference between displacement and acceleration is 180 degrees. So we know that A is equal to minus omega square into x, acceleration of the particle in SHM. Here minus sign indicates acceleration is opposite to the displacement. So here this is a simple pendulum. Whenever this simple pendulum is displaced through a displacement x, then what happens here? Restoring force is developed in a simple pendulum. So that there is a restoring force is acting towards mean position. So there is a direction of acceleration towards mean position. What is the direction of displacement? Away from the mean position. So here acceleration and displacement both are in opposite directions and they are proportional. So what is the phase difference between the acceleration and displacement from graph? Pi radians. Let us discuss another question. An iron rod of susceptibility 599 is subjected to magnetizing field 1200 ampere per meter. The permeability of material of rod is which of the following? So here there is no use of this value. To confuse you, they given 1200 ampere per meter. Here the formula is relative permeability mu r is equal to 1 plus xi. Xi is nothing but susceptibility. So mu r means mu by mu naught. Relative permeability 1 plus xi means how much? 599. So here mu is equal to mu naught into 600. So here mu is equal to, what is the value of mu naught? 4 pi into 10 to the power of minus 7. 600 written as 6 into 10 square. That is equal to here 24 pi into 10 to the power of minus 5. 24 pi 10 to the power of minus 5. That is equal to here we can written as 2.45 10 to the power of minus 4 Tesla meter ampere inverse. So our option is fourth option, correct option. Next question, The quantities of heat required to raise the temperature of two solid copper spheres of radii R1 and R2. How they are related? R1 is equal to 1.5 R2. Through 1 Kelvin or in the ratio. So, we know that the Q is equal to formula ms delta T. So, here Q is equal to, we know that the density is equal to mass by volume. Mass is equal to what we write here, density into volume. So, density into volume into S into dt. Here these are spheres, copper spheres. So, Q is equal to density into, what is the volume of the copper spheres? 4 by 3 pi r cube to S into dt. Here both are copper materials, density constant, specific heat constant, same material. Both are heated to same rising temperature, delta T constant, 4 by 3 pi constant, Q proportional to R cube. So, Q1 by Q2 is equal to R1 cube by R2 cube. So, Q1 by Q2 is equal to, here R1 cube by R2 cube. R1 means 1.5, that is equal to 3 by 2 R2. 3 by 2 R2 whole cube divided by R2 cube. So, Q1 by Q2 is equal to R2 cube cancel, 3 cube that is equal to 27, 2 cube that is equal to 8. So, ratio of heat produced in two copper spheres are 27 by 8, 27 is to 8. So, our option is, correct option is fourth option, 27 by 8.